Political analyst describes as shocking the MPP's threat to stage a demonstration if the EC heeds to calls for an audit of the voters' register. 24,000 Ghanaians diagnosed with cancer annually due to activities of illegal mining known as galamsey. That's according to the CSIR. We have details. Also coming up this morning, minority in parliament is calling for a full audit of Ghana's energy sector following reports of the near bankruptcy of ECG and other power sources. Indeed, we are Election Command Center thrust us for credible reportage before, during, and after the elections. And now, a former justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana, William Atuguba, has described as problematic politically affiliated appointments into state institutions that are supposed to remain neutral. Speaking exclusively on Ghana Tonight about whether or not there should be a forensic audit of the voters' register, he explained that the position taken by the Electoral Commission not to heed to calls for an audit is dictatorial.
That looks very absurd to me, and I don't intend to be abusive, but to make the point very forcefully, I think it's dictatorial to take that posture because the Constitution gives them the power, but that power is circumscribed by other provisions of the Constitution. Is that proper education? Just to tell people who have pointed out grievances, which you have acknowledged exist, and then after that you say that's the end. We've effected the correction. They have not seen them, and that's the end of it. Is that proper education of the people on the electoral process and its purpose? I mean, to have blind trust in the mere ipse dixit of the Electoral Commission. I say, because that said so, that's the end. That's a dictatorial posture to take. And for me, others can have their views, but looking at this Constitution in the round, that kind of situation is entirely outside the boundaries of the constitutional order put in place. Nobody, and I want to emphasize, nobody has absolute power that detracts from the welfare and interests of the people under this Constitution. That's a central requirement. And I'm sorry, in Africa, and particularly in this country over the years, people just look at power in absolute terms. I'm sorry. You look at the power conferred, you look at all the other coexisting provisions. They are relevant to the exercise of your power.
William Atuguba is a former justice of the Supreme Court. You can get full access to the interview when you go onto our website, it's 3news.com, and on Facebook, it's TV3 Ghana. Another New Patriotic Party, MPP, has announced plans to stage a demonstration against the Electoral Commission if it yields to the National Democratic Congress's request for a forensic audit of the Provisional Voters Register. General Secretary of the MPP, Justin Frimpong Kodia, criticized the NDC's demand, calling it hypocritical. Here's a report by Stanley Niblo.
The National Democratic Congress, NDC, staged a nationwide demonstration on September 17, calling for a forensic audit of the Provisional Voters Register for the 2024 general elections. The party alleges irregularities and unauthorized manipulation of the voter album, particularly in the Pusiga district of the Upper East region. The NDC has given the Electoral Commission 1 week ultimatum to act, but the governing New Patriotic Party, NPP, has countered their demands.
As it exists now, by creation of God, people are born every day and people die every day. Yes. So even if you clean the register today, on December 7th, there'll still be dead people in the voter register. You cannot stand on that basis and make the accusation that dead people in the register. These are issues that we need to think to and put it to the NDC that they have no case in it.
General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong Kodia, questioned the NDC's refusal to provide evidence of discrepancies to the EC, instead opting for demonstrations. He warned that if the EC used the NDC's pressure, NPP supporters will also protest against the EC.
The NPP will also hit the street to demonstrate against the Electoral Commission. Then it will also mean that the Electoral Commission is not consistent. Because in 2015, it's the same Electoral Commission that told us that they have the body, they have the capacity to make sure that internally they resolve issues. So we ask them what has changed.
In 2015, the NPP-affiliated Let My Vote Count Alliance also protested to make similar demands. However, the then General Secretary of the party, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, who is now the chairman of the NDC, did not mince words after a committee was set up to assess the alliance's petition to the EC.
Mr. Chairman, you have a lot of commendation of MPP about the credibility of Electoral Commission, their ability to conduct credible elections. Mr. Osei-Prempeh said in Parliament that Electoral Commission, having conducted elections, 3 successful general elections over a 13-year period, have proven to be one of the best electoral commissions on the African continent. My question is, if 13 years was enough and 3 elections was enough to prove that Electoral Commission was competent and credible and one of the best, what do you say about 22 years and the successful holding of more than 6 elections in the country?
Justin Frimpong Kodia urged civil society organizations to ensure that political parties don't overstep their boundaries to interfere in the Electoral Commission's constitutionally mandated role.
Yes, in opposition, we also attack the Electoral Commission. We also make some comments about the Electoral Commission. But I also believe that as a nation, and at this point, we call also on the media and civil society to put all political parties on check. Because at the end of the day, as politicians, we want to win elections. And it could be your strategy that, okay, let me try to put the Electoral Commission on the spotlight. Let me put the Electoral Commission to do certain things in our way. But it bestows one on the Electoral Commission as independent body to remain firm.
Next week, the NPP will also petition the Electoral Commission regarding some discrepancies in the register.
NPP has also detected some errors in the register. Some including dead people in the register, and some people whose name has been transferred, or some people who wanted to do transfers but has not been effected. All these things are what we are planning to send to the Electoral Commission next week, based on what we have detected. And we expect the Electoral Commission to use their internal mechanism to address all those issues.
Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, NPP Headquarters, Accra.
Meanwhile, Dr. Asa Santos, senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, says the position taken by the new patriotic party over calls for the audit of the voters' register is shocking. Take a listen.
Yes, we give a register to you for all of you to go through and see whether there are discrepancies. You went through, you couldn't find anything. Somebody has gone through, he found something. The commission in the first place said, no, it's not true. It went and provided what evidence? They said, yeah, now it's true. Then the people are demanding other things to be done. And you are saying that if Electoral Commission, you give in, I will also demonstrate. I'm struggling to understand that. All right. Is it the case that because you did not find anything wrong with the voter register, everybody must also remain safe? I'm struggling to understand that logic. It defies it clouds my thinking because I don't see. And in any case, if NPP want to demonstrate, the Constitution gives them the right to also demonstrate. Anytime they want to. But to tie your demonstration to the fact that If the Electoral Commission gives him, you also jump to the street. It's a bit odd, and I don't understand. I'm struggling very hard to understand it. If anything, I think MPP should mind their own business. If they want to demonstrate because Electoral Commission will take another position which is contrary to what they believe in, that is respected, they can do that. But to say that if Electoral Commission should give in, then you also hate the street. It's a bit too much for me to, wrap my mind around it.
Should there be a forensic audit of the voters register or not? We were out on the street last night and randomly spoke to a number of you, and this is what you had to say.
It should be done, not even politicizing this. It's a sign of transparency to the registered voter who is going to vote. And the brouhaha arising really means that there is something wrong somewhere. Our elders say there is no smoke without fire.
An EC official came out and he said in 2016 we had trees and plants, animals in the voters registration or the voters register, and the NDC didn't come out for any auditing. I think we shouldn't relate this to any political thing, because this issue is something that is trending and Ghanaians are really interested in it. And if the EC doesn't audit the voters register, it means Ghanaians are losing trust and credibility that we have in the EC.
Said the NDC for an answer Ghana 4% yeshim or say yeshim, because say idea or honor see yeshim. Now say who did this idea na yeshim a correct my yeshim. So who did say and ya correct there and a owner usuru. So I catch them say no the bonny will be phone so. Now me see me near the bonny will be phone so. I was say checking me phone so. Se me say at the bonny ni so na me say me ma won hwe phone no so that means at the bonny ye den e wo phone no so nti me dia me dwene say dia omo call for no say yen hwe register nim no e correct say wo say ye hwem.
Honestly, I don't care. I mean, those in charge should just come together and do the right thing. Whatever that may be, they should just come together and do the right thing. But then again, were they just fired or was something else done to them? Because if it's just firing them, then I think people will continue to take the law into their own hands and then do some of these things. So if there are harsher punishments, maybe it would deter others from doing that.
Me my dream journey say, asunju aye penti, isi, oma kwan, no mo hwehwe ne truth no, ember out, ne bibiaso, entwa na asunju embra, ne ansa na ye vote no entiase aba na asunju nso aba ansa na ye vote no ye vote no wia na obia se wo duo wo wi ni o ne wa hu se truth no epie dada nti ntokwa bia ensi.
You watching home can also get interactive with us. Just go into our Facebook platforms, TV3 Ghana. We are live. Engage us whether or not we should, audit the voters register. Away from that, the Democracy Hub is defying a court injunction to proceed with its 3-day planned protest at the Revolutionary Square in front of the Jubilee House in Accra. The police have expressed concerns that the protest could compromise public order, safety and health, and disrupt essential services. This is the Revolution Square right in front of the Jubilee House, and this has been set as a location by the Democracy Hub for their 3-day planned protest. That's Saturday, September 21 to Monday, September 23. But the police service disapproves this very location. The fact is, after their assessments, according to the Public Order Act 1994, Act 491, should this protest carry on, it would mar public peace, safety, order, and even halt some essential services.
The only issue is that the police and the Democracy Hub disagree on the choice of location, that is the Revolution Square, for the planned protest. The service has duly communicated in a letter to the Democracy Hub that we are prepared to sit with them once again and agree on a location.
Clearly, a court injunction has been placed prohibiting Democracy Hub from partaking in this very protest until they have a change of mind regarding their location.
If the police has reasonable grounds to believe that the special event, if held, may lead to violence or endanger public defense, public order, public safety, public health, or the running of essential services, or it will violate the rights and freedom of other people, we may request the organizers to reconsider, and that is exactly what we have done.
So let's get some reaction from Democracy Hub and speak to Oliver Baker-Bomawo.
It's a language, right? Like they just picked up some English. These days, I think that the police have been using a lot of ChatGPT to write a lot of these things. It has no substantive meaning. You can come up with all kinds of big English to deny substantive rights. Now we are here at the Revolutionary Square. Yeah. It is nothing but a dilapidated space. This place is accessible to the public. There's nothing security about this zone. There's a hustling and bustling of pedestrians and buses. The whole place is open to the public. But every time we've tried to have a protest,
but there's a seat of government here.
But that's the essence of it, right? From the very days of this country, even from the colonial times, our people have always reserved the right to walk up to the seat of government and show their grievances. The Constitution protects the right to ridicule our leaders. That's what we want to preserve for all of us.
So if I understand you, on Saturday, you'll be here with you?
Yes, on Saturday we are here till Monday. The place is well cordoned off. The police, in fact, we have tried to engage them severally that whatever security arrangements they want to put in, whether they want to surround us with all the Ghana Armed Forces authority, they can do that.
Won't this whole poster of you again confirm that, Bomawo is that stubborn person?
It's not bad. I mean, if I am stubborn in the protection of democracy, I have to be.
So the police service states categorically that they are not prohibiting the protest, but they just want Democracy Hub to change their location. But the poster from the Democracy Hub is that they are still going to carry on with their protest. But let's see how that pans out in ensuing days. Josh Quenin, TV3 News, Accra. Meanwhile, Democracy Hub has condemned the alleged arrest of one of its conveners, Ralph St. Williams, widely known as fellow Ghanaians, while en route Kumasi for mobilization activities in preparation of the three-day planned protest. Democracy Hub believes the arrest stems from the convener's peaceful participation in Tuesday's Enough is Enough demonstration, where he highlighted government's mismanagement by opening the National Cathedral pit for what has been described as symbolic swimming. It further points out the arrest has been strategically timed to suppress his participation in the upcoming Say No to Galamsey protest and to intimidate activists fighting for transparency and environmental justice. Democracy Hub demands the immediate release of Ralph St. Williams and also wants an official apology from authorities. A formal petition has been sent to the Inspector General of Police to address this very situation. Well, this is a development that is of grave concern to us, and so we'll be following up and update you shortly in our subsequent bulletins. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the morning news here on TV3. More news this morning. 5 political parties have pledged to promote gender and social transformative policies to improve the lives of women, children and people living with disabilities in the country. Some civil society organizations have given indication they will hold the parties to account in their first few months in office.
Ghana's passage of the Affirmative Action Bill and its subsequent signing into law by President Akufo-Addo has drawn more attention to advocacy about women's inclusion and gender equity for the development of the country. 2 civil society organizations, the Network for Women's Rights, Net Rights Ghana, and the Gender Equitable and Transformative Social Policy for Post-COVID-19 Africa, say the political parties must go beyond their policies and act upon them. Deputy Campaign Manager of Dr. Baumia, Dr. Antoine Chibo Dakon, and NDC spokesperson on gender and children, Nana Oyebampo-Addo, have all defended their parties' manifestos as having factored in gender issues.
One of the most worrying things is people don't even know when their rights have been trampled on. And for women, to protect our rights, you need to know what is your right. We need to get workplaces, both public and private, to have a sexual harassment policy and publish it on your website. So we all then know it. And I think that once it is open knowledge, it prevents people from flouting these laws.
John Dramani Mahama also outdid his social contract with the people of Ghana. One is appointing all his cabinet ministers within 14 days of being sworn in. And we know that a minimum of 30%, being 20, will be women.
Head of Secretariat at NetRight, Patricia Blankson Akakpo, said the political parties will be held accountable for their promises.
Now it's not going to be empty promise. Whoever wins power after 100 days will come back to them to say that you said you do 1, 2, 3. In your first 100 days, what have you done for women of this country? And we are looking at social policies. We are looking at women's representation and participation.
In our latest research findings by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, have revealed that Ghana is recording over 24,000 galamsey-induced cancer cases. With over 60% of water bodies contaminated, many patients are also increasingly building resistance to medications. Health experts are demanding immediate action to safeguard lives.
It has been the fear of many the true cost of illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey, is far-reaching. The very essence of life, water bodies, are polluted and ordinary Ghanaians are paying the price. Beyond the annual loss of biodiversity, heavy metal poisoning and water pollution are causing unprecedented surge in cancer cases. A study by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has found that Ghana is recording over 24,000 cancer cases, further straining the already overburdened healthcare systems. Mercury levels around 102 grams per liter are reported in blood samples of persons living in galamsey-infested areas. The Pharmacy Technicians Association of Ghana has also made a disturbing revelation that patients are developing resistance to medications due to polluted water caused by galamsey activities.
And this is serious. Can you imagine you are sick and then doctor prescribe a medication for you because of somebody's recklessness in doing galamsey in our water bodies? You have become resistant and then the medicines that are given is not able to treat you. Can you imagine the cost of healthcare in Ghana, all of them going up because of all these menaces?
In the midst of these concerns, a strong calls being made for the immediate suspension of all illegal small-scale mining activities across Ghana. But the president of the National House of Chiefs disagrees with a ban of mining, warning that any such move could cost the country huge financial losses and leave many jobless.
You all know I hate galamsey. I fight against it. It, however, does not mean that you shouldn't mine. We own the gold. There are good ways of mining. If you make an application, you'll be taught how to correctly mine. Those calling for state of emergency, a ban on mining, are not considering its impact. It will have dire consequences. People can lose their jobs. Do you know how much money we'll lose?
The consequences are far-reaching and the conversation extends beyond data. This is a story of the country's promise being undermined by a select few enriching themselves, jeopardizing the future of generations to come.
On that galamsey note, we end the morning news. For more news updates, just log on to our website at 3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Enjoy your morning.